right. Bill Coleman. All right. I hope I look happy. I am happy. I'm very happy. Very, very happy. But let me see what the date is today. Tuesday mystery topic. That's what this says. I just got this notification that the live chat is on. Look at this. Tuesday mystery topic. That's what this says. I just got this notification that the live chat is on. Look at this. All right, I'm not saying anything. Let's see how long of a lack of welcome. Oh, I don't think this microphone is really the one that we're using. All right, it locked up. Lenny's with us. Okay, I can see you there, and I can see you on here. This is kind of fun. You know, we really don't have the greatest, the resolution on there is not that great. All right, well, I don't want to be distracted by my cell phone. I was going to stop and see what day it was. It's February 8th, 8:07, 2022. And you can see Rachel did some new artwork there. She drew a bus, and the title is Gather the Tribe Part 2. Gather the Tribe Part 2. All right, I got going last night, and we went pretty long, actually. I didn't realize we went like hour and a half. And let's see, Lenny's with us, Brittany's with us, Coastal's with us. Long time. Nova's in the house, right? Been a while. You know who else we haven't seen in a while? The Ghost. Virgil's with us. All right. I mean, anytime a Canadian comes in, you know, we have to stop and, you know. This is really fun because every day it's something new with the trucker thing. And I tell you what, all we can do really, I can't really read into this because I only get the information that I get, you know. Keith's with us, right on. But it is interesting because a bunch of truckers on this side of the bridge between Detroit and where's it go into? Toronto, I guess. Andy's with us, right on. A bunch of truckers have jammed it all up. So now Michigan's involved, and that means American truckers are involved. And whoa, every day there's new stuff happening. Like yesterday, it was like sort of a gut punch because we heard that the RCMP was confiscating people's fuel, right? They have their trucks out there. It's pretty cold, and they get their trucks running. Some of them have their families with them, and they want to keep the trucks kind of warm so they can survive. And RCMP is confiscating fuel, right? Isn't that nice of them? But today, I guess there was some legal action, and a judge said that they had to give it back. So I wonder how that worked out, you know. It's kind of interesting. But last night, you know, we talked about it a little bit, and did I talk about cured sausage earlier today? I don't know. Maybe there was a yeah, oh, I know what that was. Joe released a video today, and I haven't seen it yet. It's really cool. It's coming at me from all sides. Joe was here today, and we did a lot of video in here, and he did some video with Jill. We were talking about keeping chickens in the wintertime, you know, hey. But he spruces it up with some really nice video work, and it's nice. I like it. I like it. It makes me feel like we're moving ahead with what we're doing here. So anyway, the trucker thing, it's just interesting every single day. And I just think about Canadian geese, how most of the time you leave them alone and they leave you alone. And then you can kind of taunt them a little bit and they'll keep moving away from you. But once they've had enough, then they're coming and they're not going to back off until you are in full retreat running. And then they will chase you for a while. And I think that's something we should all think about as we're seeing this operation break down. And the people that pulled this off, and we see them start to slither away. Is that a good thing to allow that to happen? I say no. I say no. You know, I don't think it's a good idea to just leave them to come at us another time. The people that did this, you know, I think we all know. We know who they are, and you know, we have to be prepared as this thing gets in full breakdown mode, as it sure looks like it is to me. And I'm glad of it. I'm glad it's finally breaking down, and people are starting to realize that they, you know, are human beings and don't deserve to be treated the way this elite, wannabe elite globalist class has been doing. It's been going on a long time. This is nothing new. It's just that now the number of people that can actually see it and are starting to get riled up, it has an effect on the other side because they start to get scared, right? It's kind of funny how our side are not scared. You know, we're not scared of another lockdown or anything like that. We're kind of like saying, you try it and see what, you know. I'm pretty angry, but I know I'm just one guy. And I think it takes sort of a critical mass for things to get rolling. I heard people at the border today at the Ambassador Ridge there in Detroit. It goes over into Toronto, I guess, I think. I'm not actually sure. I've never gone across it. But they were saying we need reinforcements. People get down here now, right? And if you have if you've been angered by this whole thing, then it's like something you can do. It's something you can do. For us, I think that the thing that we can do is we can produce food and bring our preparation up for ourselves and our communities and be prepared. Be prepared to lead and feed and teach and all those things. Be prepared. Okay, well, last night, let's see who we got here before it gets too far away. We got Andy, the Zumwalder from Greenbow, Alabama, coming in. Jonathan Pierce, Mark, you should share the recipe for that cured sausage you talked about earlier today. You know what, Jonathan? Tomorrow's Q&A, and you'll have Jill on, and she's the one to ask. I know that sounds kind of light, but I don't have the recipe. I don't do the recipe thing, right? Saw Oregon truckers were headed to Salem, Oregon to protest. Yeah. This could get out of hand. This could get out of hand. I know some of the information that we've passed on here. You know, I passed on a little bit from Owen Benjamin, which when I listened to it, it sounded, you know, legit. Like, hey, this is all a setup to usher in, you know, more mandates and things like that. But I don't know. Let's say that old Biden doubles down right now and says, oh, yeah, you truckers, I'm going to take your licenses away. Big freaking deal. There's so many of them, you know, big deal, you know, and you got to ask the question, where are the, you know, the enforcement arm of this, all this stuff is like your RCMP. They're nothing like our state police. I know I worked a crash recovery over in New Brunswick one time, and I spent 3 days supervising a chunk of airplane out in the middle of nowhere, and it was me and an RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Policeman. And I mean, this guy was goofy, but he was a regular guy, you know. And I just don't see them being, there's not enough of them for one, but I just don't see them going after truckers, because when you are on the open road, it's truckers, it's RCMP, it is the rescue vehicles, and ambulances. They're all kind of one. They're all working a similar mission, and I don't see the RCMP picking a fight with a bunch of truckers. I certainly can't see rescue companies that run the rescue, like the Coca-Cola and they would not be. That would not be it. What this has done, it's created us and them. You have teachers drove well a fringe of little 100 trucks down there. Meanwhile, the news, you're seeing of trucks, and I mean, it's going down. I don't know how he was legitimate before anyway. Anybody that would think twice about it has some sort of issue. But anyway, it's getting good. It's good. I mean, every day the stakes go up and both sides are doubling down. I can't see the truckers at this point saying, well, let's go home, because they're out of business. They can't, they're being mandated, whatever the hell that means, by Trudeau, that they have to have a passport, a health certificate passport. By the way, when we watch movies of World War II in the United States, and we see German Gestapo stopping people and saying "Papas," that's translated into English. It's like Hollywood said, okay, well let's say "Papas, please," and then all of the movies say "Papas, please." But maybe somebody on here knows what the phrase actually is in German, and they were asking for health certificates, right? They did a lot with health certificates. Hey, why don't you close? And that was the way that they demonized certain groups of people, is because they were unhealthy. So this passport thing, it's sort of like a page out of the old playbook of, well, you can't function in this world unless we know that you're healthy. We have to check and make sure that you're healthy. Yeah, okay. Well, they got an uphill battle now, as far as I'm concerned, because I mean, there's a lot of people that said hell no from the beginning, and it's usually the type of people that don't change their minds and can create just one hell of a lot of resistance if they decide to. And so we'll see. We'll see. I feel quite optimistic after seeing what I saw today. And I don't know, is it a plot to make me feel optimistic? So I just, cut up all my resistive measures. So I just start thinking, all crazy thoughts about how legitimate, deviant lifestyles are and things like that. No, I don't know. It would have to be pretty smooth, and they're just not that smooth on that side of the aisle. They're just not that smooth. I don't know. It contributes to my optimism. Yeah, you know what? I'm still saying something here, and I got to comment on that. You guys need to look at this too. All right, Nicole Salzman's with us. Right on, Nicole. How you doing? Nicole, I wish you'd come to one of our charcuterie classes. We need you to come to another class. Belva's with us. Hello, Belva. Coastal gardening. Latest lunacy is to stick child services on the truckers for forcing children to live in a truck. We didn't see that one coming. Yeah. Well, you know, they don't have many plays, and they're trying to stick something on these truckers. They're calling them, like I was saying last night. I guess I didn't offend anybody, but my kids said that you sure said it enough times. Like they're trying to call them homophobes and Islamophobes and racists. And I mean, they always do that. You're a racist. How stupid is that? You know, you're a racist. Wow. They're protesting lockdowns that prevent them from feeding their family. They have no choice, right? Oh, some people are going to say, well, they just need to get the vaccine. You stupid idiots. You got 2 vaccines, and now they're telling you to get boosters and this, that, and the other thing. How stupid are you? You're just stupid. I don't care. Be stupid. Get another booster. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it now. Take mine. All right. And then Coastal's saying Trudeau's father would be proud he ruled Cuba in similar fashion. I was just watching. I got a comment on that because I was just watching a YouTube video from. I'll show it to you because it was pretty decent. I forget the guy's name, but I listen. He does interviews quite a bit, and his interviews are really quite good. I'll go to library. Okay, it's right here. Let's see. I just want to get the guy's name. I'll show it to you. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, it went to a commercial first. Okay. The site is Value Entertainment, 3.3 million subscribers. And this one is 6 hours ago. Justin Trudeau, son of Fidel Castro, ? Jordan Peterson reacts. I was not happy. I mean, they show a photograph and they leave it on the screen for quite a while and ask Jordan Peterson to give his commentary. And he's all over the place, but he can't take his eyes off that photograph. I mean, it's one of those ones where they cut the guy's head down the middle and they cut the other guy's head and they put them together. And it's striking how much they resemble each other. They look very, very similar. And Jordan Peterson, I don't think he did very well. He did not want to say, well, yeah, it looks like he could be, because maybe he'd get roasted in the media if he did that. But I don't know. I don't know what difference it makes, really. Although these I don't think these people are elected. I think they're selected, and I think they're different bloodlines. And it's like a big club, like George Carlin said, and it's a big club, and you ain't in it, right? So, and that's what is happening here. Is this whole thing is dissolving under them? They're losing their power. Too many people know. Too many people want answers to questions, and you know, I think a lot of people are going to pay dearly for pushing this agenda. I do either that or I will. All right, but I don't think I will because there's so many of us that are saying, wait a minute, you know, you guys are liars. I remember way back when Trump said the enemy of the people, or the mainstream media is the enemy of the people. And it's true because they set the narrative. We are so used to listening to them because that's the news. a man who wants to, I'm just going to say it, tough. I don't care if you don't like, but woman was created for man. And all my life, men get together, the best subject to talk about, the one they like the best, is women. They love to talk about women, not to make fun of them, but just to celebrate women. But here's a guy that wants another guy's hairy backside, and we're supposed to listen to him as though he is teaching us the current events. And he's not the only one. I mean, there's Shepard Smith, there's Anderson Pooper. So there's three of them in the mainstream media. And then there's a woman on the other side, whatever. But they're going away, they are going away. But that whole thing, to me, it was like, I'm not going to believe what this guy says. This guy doesn't even, this guy has really poor judgment here if he can't see the majesty of the creation that was made for him, woman. He can't see that, and he wants another guy. I mean, that is some serious poor judgment. I'm not going along with the lie that, well, it's just another lifestyle. I'm not going along with that. Oh, frozen, breaking up bad, huh? Is anybody hearing me? Frozen, breaking up bad. Am I on out there, Jill? You got me? Okay. Okay, Jonathan's got me. Jack, maybe it's out on your end. You were having a hard time with me yesterday. Okay. Hear you, but you do break up. Okay. All right. Sound is intermittent. That's not good, you guys. I don't know what. I hear you loud and clear, Justin. It's good now, Andy. All right. So it seems like it's getting scrambled. Yeah, Justin's saying it's their connection again. It's sporadic, says Andy. What a bummer. All right. Well, I was just musing again about who we should listen to, and the mainstream media is just. It appears that they hire people with really poor judgment. Fredo Cuomo. Really, really poor judgment. And now we're seeing the whole thing break down. And well, it kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. I would hear about parents who would pull their children out of certain situations. You can no longer go and hang out at the Galleria. You're pulled out of there. But they didn't really offer them an alternative, so the kid would wind up in a tougher situation, right? And I am not comfortable just sitting here and just slamming what's wrong with the planet. I'm not comfortable with that. I do bring it up, right? But then, okay, well, here's a solution. Sort of like the Hegelian dialectic, only I didn't create the problem. I didn't create it. Somebody else did. And it's our job to find a solution around it. And I think where we are, as this group of people who are interested in this type of thing, this way of life, this intentional way of life, we're not cubicle dwellers that can affect policy and things like that. But we can steer our lives in the direction that we want to go and become stronger and more self-sufficient and more capable as human beings in this world. There's definitely a boogeyman out there. There definitely is a boogeyman out there, and I didn't create him. I didn't. Okay, so I wanted to continue on the conversation we were having last night about gathering your tribe or calling in your tribe, however we want to put it. And last night we talked about what tribe will have you, and I said, hey, this might be a little offensive to some of you. right? But what are you good for? And I could see people doing some real soul searching and saying, you know what? Not much. You know, I want to be, but all right, we got Andrzej Leskanowski from Poland. All right, right on. Belarus border. All right, right on. Man, it's nice to have friends over there. Maybe I can take my bus over sometime and stay with you. So gathering up your tribe, and I think we really have to ask the question, okay, well, who am I? What tribe would want me? Like, let's say this is a baseball world that we're in, and you want to be on the Boston Red Sox. Well, do they need a first baseman? And are you worth anything as a first baseman? You're going to have to ask that question. If not, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? You're going to have to increase your skill level, right? So, that's a pretty selective example. And we are in the homesteading business. Homesteading is a very, very, really vast field, right? We have electricians, we have plumbers, we have cooks, we have butchers, we have bakers, we have candlestick makers, we have story writers, we have artisans, we have gardeners, we have maintenance people. We got them all in the homesteading business. See, the homestead, as it's progressing, and I might be ahead of the curve on this. I might be, just because of, I got out 10 years before you did, Andy, or 14 years before. So I've had time to think about this, and I've had a couple struggles, and I've seen what happens when you rely on certain organizations that run their businesses, and they're destined to fail. They're crummy business models, right? They're just absolutely, like a county health department. They have 4 or 5 people. The one we have, they have 4 or 5 people that work there. There's really not that much for them to do. They totally close at lunchtime, so they can all take lunch together. They don't serve the public. They're just kind of regulators. They become regulators, helping the health of the county. So it's a poor business model. They rely on dollars that is taken from us via taxation, right? We didn't ask for that many people up there. They decided they needed it, and then they take money away from me to feed these people. Right? It's a crummy business model, and I think people are having enough of it. And I don't want to pick on the health department, but they just, it's easy to see what's going on there. Department of Agriculture. It's like, why do we need you people? What in the hell do you even claim to do? Right? Not much. Not much. And yet a lot of our tax dollars are going to them, where they could be going to infrastructure that would benefit our lives, instead of making house payments for these clowns, and paying for their cars, right? Let them get jobs, and work like the rest of us do. So gathering your tribe. When you gather your tribe, you want people around you close. I mean, this is our tribe. This is virtual, and make no mistake, if you need to know how to hook up a cooler, with one of those deals that Justin put together the other day, you just let him know, I need to pick your brain a little bit. I need to call you, and he'll say, here's my phone number. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, he seems like that kind of guy. And see, that's the benefit of this tribe. There's a lot of information that flows back and forth. So, but tribe locally, local tribe. How are we going to do that? So I had this experience. I'll just tell you a little storytelling here. But let me dig Andy's thing here. When I pro super in the AF in the Air Force, I would tell fighters to bring a problem without a solution. Different application, but what as well. That's true. When you are out in all right, looks like we're back on. I got 18 people. You know what, you guys need now to read, and it's something over here. It says, "Oops, I'm voting the like for let me 5 by 5, and I will continue." Looks good. Good. You guys hear me? So I know. Continue. One. Somebody just say something. Who will be the first? All right. Sec before I get rolling. Chat opening. Anybody? Anybody else? The bus looks nice, don't it? Looks great. I think Rachel did a nice job on that. I have a feeling that we are because it's decreased. Everybody's hanging in there. Maybe that's frozen. Anybody? Maybe I'm not going to be able to go on. Made fun of Trudeau. Comment 14. Okay, I'm losing, so that tells me that I'm a problem. All right, does anybody hear? Bill, am I on? Okay, Cole's still glitchy. Sheet. Andy, all right. All right. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, I can hear you. All right, maybe it's just your connection. Working good is a pain. You know, a heads up, if it starts to poop, we'll just call it. The devil doesn't want me talking about his kid. Is his kid even in Canada now? Nicole, before they get drowned it out again, we have a charcuterie class in March, the weekend of the 5th and 6th. More than welcome. Puppy by then. Yeah, one of the trash people that had she wants us to have one of them, and we made the decision. Obi not get it done anymore. A friend of mine has a great piece, Anatolian. Anatolian. We're going to replace Obi with him. He's young. He's just a puppy, and place as well. For space, and they still stay here. Guardians, they're just not have our second breeding coming because we've done really good with these puppies. So yeah, so we're going to get new puppies in a fun. But anyway, I did this. You go having you know, next step for us living the nomad lifestyle is that going. Our Airbnb thing, so we've got our bus sitting there that we're renting out. Maybe we get another bus and we fix it up and trip, that type of thing. But we have gravel, the farm where people can park. motor home or whatever they want to do. In they could informally tour the farm. Good, they could things, but without somebody and how to do it, it's sort of like, I don't know, looking through a window at something that you really want to get your arms, and you just can't. It's like watching TV videos, let's say. And so you want to hear this, John. So then I started thinking, if somebody came, to make a reservation to stay on the farm, and do this because we do this in less than his fifth wheel, and place where they stay, up to electricity and water. But next time on the back of our, and so we want X amount of dollars per night. That's good. $8 and I'm going to work because this farm doesn't really run on fuel. It runs on electricity. Those things. It runs on some insurance. That's necessary. Evil. We don't do a lot, but then supplies. You got to have those. Building material. A guy, a nomad, really wants to. He really for him. Maybe pulling a trailer is new for him, and being a nomad, that was new. But maybe he's got that one down pat. Okay, I can do this. So if I can do this, I bet I can do it too. But I wouldn't mind some instruction. So he's looking for. For a couple things. I'm looking for dollars. I'm looking for work. I'm looking for, right? There's all kinds of labor. If I could get Justin up here, I could get figured out how to wire in all of these campsites. I can lay wire down, but I'm not really sure to figure out how much amperage I need and all this stuff. That's why it's nice to have a tribe, ain't it? So, what if we had this great idea? Well, we'll just trade lodging for. We get a guy come here. There was a guy I met down at the. We did in that's coming. I met him. I spent a lot of time talking with him. I met him briefly, but you meet people, and it's like these people, they want, they can do what they want. And then there was Sarah and Taylor, whatever they want to. So let's say it's 5 hours or 6 hours, right? They might say, well, what do I got to do? It probably wouldn't be that. I will say, I need a volunteer, and they'll say, to do what? And I'll say, I can't tell you. I can't, because that would ruin it. Because sometimes you volunteer for things, they're really good. Sometimes you volunteer for things, they're really bad. But who would ever volunteer if they didn't get a good thing once in a while? So let's say you've got guys like this fellow that I met, this Mike that I met down in I don't think he knows anything about fencing. So if I had this guy avail me, I'd say, how about me do some fencing? I'll get you started on it. And then I need to break off because I have this other crew that's helping to plant trees, right? So and then maybe one of my surrogates could step in, like one of my kids step in and say, oh, we know this. Well, men are working with kids getting a fencing project done that at the end of the day, now they don't just have an idea of the concept of fencing, they've done it. Now they own it. They absolutely own it. So they didn't have to come to a class to learn, to pay money to learn fencing, which when we do those fencing classes, we're set up in a place where we're not even going to have a fence anyway. And then when we get done, we take it down. So not that good, really, but that's training. That is training. That's how it works. But in this case, the farm would be getting a fencing project done. The people participating in it are paying for their lodging with their labor. And they're not really paying because they're learning. They're getting to do something under the supervision of somebody that knows how to do the thing. And then at the end of the day, they know how to do the thing. And then it's like, hey, you guys going to stay another couple of days? Yeah. Okay, here's a couple more rolls of fence. Now that you know, go for it. No problem. No problem. Who wants to be on vacation all the time anyway? I need to work. I have to work. I got to do something. So as I thought of it, bells are starting to go off in my mind. Quite understand what I'm saying. Continue to think about it. Like no dollar exchange. So it's direct. Hey, I'm going to be staying on. I'll work for you from 8 o'clock till 3 in the afternoon, and then we're going to take off to the beach anyway. And then I don't have to give you dollars to stay here in your water and dump my tank, in your digester. That's a whole nother thing, Justin. We got to work on that. Got to work on that. The digester system. Ooh, that is so cool. So, all right. Well, it's crummy. Nicole had to punch out. Is everybody else not getting it? Yeah, we've lost mostly everybody. Crummy. Is anybody hearing me now, or should I just punch off for tonight and redo this tomorrow night? Or it'll be Thursday, actually. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody say that they can hear me? Give it. Should we just pack it in? We're almost at an hour anyway. I hear you and dig what you said. Okay. All right. Well, so then as I was thinking about this, then I contacted Lorna and I said, I have an idea. And when I explained it to her, she said, that's called work camping. Work camping. And it's a concept that Bezos has already figured out, right? They already got it figured out. So if you work for Amazon
it's actually working better now.
It is working? All right.
Yeah. We lighten the load.
Per what Justin said?
Yeah, I've been doing that. I just forgot.
All right.
It reminded me.
Work for Amazon, they actually have campgrounds, and you can, so you go and stay at one of their campgrounds, and then you go put in 6 hours a day at their facility. If you're you know, a sales clerk here to, you know, something Indiana. It's the same job, it's just a different location, and they can swap you out. People are getting their vacations and they're also working, you know, so it's a working vacation. It's good. So it's not a new concept to me because I was just thinking about it on my own. And I think we will have a different dynamic. Like if you work for Amazon, it's not like you work for Amazon because you just are passionate about it. You could be, I mean, but I doubt it. But people who are into this way of life becoming about it, and they're actually passionate about the other members that are in it, because remember, we're a tribe. So um, when you get here, best interest to make you do something that is going to turn you off towards this thing, turn you off towards, you know, this tribe family. No, I'm, you know, I've had a lot of young people work for me. I've had a lot of people work for me, period. Andy, you know what I'm talking about. And you have to assess people where they're at and try to get them dialed in where they're at, you know, and everybody's different. And that is one of the attributes of a good manager or superintendent, whatever you want to call it. So I think we've been going here to the point where we have people come back year after year after year, and you could utilize them in a leadership. Like, hey, you're going to be the crew leader. We've got this orchard that needs to be planted, and here's the post hole digger. I mean, you know, the power post hole digger probably, and here's the dump truck load of dirt, and you know, have at it. There's 4 families that are staying this week. We'll be all meeting at one of the chow hall for a meal, and then we got another 2 hours work, and then we're off for the day. You guys go do what you want. Go out to the lake and swim. Go whitewater rafting. Go to Magic Mountain or Traverse City, or any cool things to do in where I live. But the thing about this is, it's sort of like the tribe day. Is this being designed so it only works at Baker's Green Acres? No, it is not. It's being designed sort of like if we were running a bakery, right? We're going to write an instruction manual on it, and then that instruction manual could be taken any place and utilized. The same thing could be performed there, and you get the same bang out of it. So we really don't want it. So, you know, if this place were to get infected with COVID-19 or something and we had to shut it down, we wouldn't want it so the whole thing discontinued. You want to have cells. You want to have cells that operate independently. And, you know, we're getting close to that point where we're going to be able to break people off here and there and still work under the anyone can find name. That's where it goes. The alternative to that is like, hey, you guys do your own thing, and I'm okay with that too. I mean, whatever a person feels comfortable with. If they, like with the Anyone Can Farm Hog Harvest, if somebody wants to use our curriculum and work the Anyone Can Farm banner, we'll work with you. You know, if somebody wants to say, no, I'm going to create my own, it's like, have at it, man. Good luck. And I hope you do well. I hope you can share your information with us someday. That's because the mission is just to, you know, perform the mission. It has nothing to, well, it's my mission, you know. It really, that's kind of light. All right. So I'm going to mention this again tomorrow night because it is a deep subject and it's something that we can implement quite quickly. We have Tribe Day coming up on July 9th, and I want to make sure that there's plenty of places where can camp if they want to. Last year we had don't know, about 5 families that camped out. It was really fun, but I didn't have any campsites. We just, how about there? How about there? How about that? And we tried to put porta potties in strategic places so people could utilize them. But this time we're going to do it different. I'm getting together an area, and it's going to be set up for, driving ease. We would like to use the back of our property. The problem with that is it's wet, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done to get a road in, and I don't know as I can have that done as quickly as I would like to. However, with the work camp program, yesterday I made a quick list of jobs and then skills, and I would say that the program would go Monday through Friday. If people want to camp here Saturday and Sunday, that's their business. But I don't think we would be working those days. I know we wouldn't be working those days because I want to be off Saturday and Sunday. And so we'd start Monday morning. We meet at the chow hall and put together a plan for the day. Get meet and greet and all that stuff. It would be mutually beneficial to everybody. And I've learned about the nomad community, right? The nomad community is an extremely tight community. They come from all walks of life, but one thing that they have in common is they're living the nomad lifestyle. And what they do when they get together is they like to talk. Oh, so how many states have you been to? Where have you gone? What's interesting to do in this state? Have you ever been here before? And let's say that somebody does a week at Baker's Green Acres work camping, let's say, and they have a dynamite time. I mean, their kids have a good time, they have a good time, and it's a good thing. And their next stop is, let's say, who knows where, and they're talking with other campers, and they say, you know what we just did? It could be a win-win situation that just grows, very quickly. All right. We don't have Nancy tonight. We haven't had the ghost on here. I think he found us. Do me a favor, will you guys? This is the Anyone Can Farm experience that we're on YouTube. And if you could go through and share it with everybody, like go through your list of people and share it with one of them. That would help me a lot, right? Because we want to grow this. We want to grow this, right? Yep, your kids would have a good time here. I think we're onto something here, Justin, if you think about it. And it not only can be done here, it can be done at your farm, and it can be done at Andy's farm. It can be done at Charles's farm, and Leon, and all of us can participate. And at some point, we will have a tribe listing, right, of where you can go. So a lot of you have met each other here at our classes, but just think if we could, like when this whole thing is over, and if we could go up to Canada and we could meet Coastal, we could meet Nancy, we could meet the Ghost, or, like Nicole, we could just head down and see her place and see what's going on there. It would be really fun for me to do that, because like that's the whole idea of the bus, is so we can actually do that, and we can gain video content of other people's farms if they so choose. I just think it'd be great. Okay. Okay, Coastal is saying, sounds like you know what you're talking about. Put weekly reminder vids on the old channel and the subscribers will find their way here. That's why I'm here tonight. Okay. I think Joe's going to do that. I think he's got it figured out. Okay. I've got a really good team now. I've got people on this team that know way more about that than I do. And that was probably the problem before, is I am not geared towards this. I can utilize it, but I don't know. I have a certain amount of capacity. I'm filling it with things, I suppose. Sometimes I get it, but not all the time. So I'm open-minded. I'm open to it. I'm open to getting real good computer geekish, but it hasn't quite caught on. I still don't know how to type, So Coastal's got 30 acres of hay fields for a meetup. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? That would be so neat. I got to get a bus. And just for your information, Justin, I don't know if you were here the other night when I was talking about buses again, but I've gone the whole gambit. You know how, like, when you're looking at something that you think you want to get, you keep looking at it, and then at first I started saying, well, I could get a bus, and then I'll fix it up the way I want it, and then all this stuff, and on. But then I said, wait a minute, I don't have time to do like the work I have. Never mind retrofitting a bus. So I was like, well, maybe I will just buy one that somebody else fixed up. And that's a good idea, And I was saying, like, okay, well, let's look at a thing that's $20,000, that's got 100 to 150,000 miles, 150,000 on a bus, which is nothing. Let's look at those. And then as I was looking at them, I'd say, well, that one's nice, but it's in New Mexico. That one's nice, but I don't think I need a king size bed. That's like a waste of space to me. That one's nice, but you can't use the back door. And, there was things that I didn't like. And then I started thinking, well, I would like one that has a queen size bed that's a Murphy bed that I can fold up out of the way, have space, during the day, and I can go out the back door if I want to. And things like that. Like, I don't want to have bunk beds built in. I don't want that. I would rather just have a closet with a bunch of GI cots that you can pull out, boop, set them up, and then when you're done, take them down and put them in the closet. That to me is a more efficient way to do it, because cots, you don't use, I mean, bunks that you fold up against the wall, it takes space, and if they don't, then you really have less space. So there was a lot of things that I think I want that I wasn't seeing. And then some of the really nice ones were up 50,000. And, you could do, if you have a shop like I do, and you have, especially if you have people that need to, people coming on board that are good at putting paneling up or want to try their hand learning how to, run PEX tubing so they can get some water in and stuff like that. It's not that hard. I think that it would be a good use of people's skills too. And work camping program, I may be able to utilize the bus on one of the pads, just let it sit out there. As soon as it's done, it can sit out there and we can let people stay in it, right? So a bus for us that we build it'll start turning dollars immediately. It won't be just, it sits there until we drive it down to Texas to do a class. It wouldn't be like that. It would be something that is built, set on a pad, listed on Airbnb, and people can stay in it, right off the bat, and they can cook meals in it and all that stuff. They destroy it, we'll build another one. And once that one's built and we operate it for a while, I might say, time to build another one. Because you look around at buses and you find, relatively new equipment, diesel equipment, good transmissions, really good, top of the line stuff. because, it's transporting the children around, so that it has to be the best. And then they really don't use them, because what school districts do is they say, well, we can use this thing for 100,000 miles. We don't have to change the filters on it. And then when comes time to change the filters, let's just swap the bus out, because federal money available. It's not like it's coming out of our pocket. So let's just swap it out. And this bus that we paid, I don't know, what do you pay for those things? Those buses brand new. 150,000 bucks. Let's just 1,000, get it out of our sight. And that happens every day. And this sort of a stigma that goes is that people that are riding around in buses and camping in them are like they're less than infidels, I guess. They're people who weed and I got a story about buses. I told my son the story today, and I haven't thought about this in a long time. Can you guys hear me? You want to hear a story? And I'll call her good. Well, way back, I was working for Lockheed Airplane Company, and I moved out to California, and I was living in Burbank, California, and working in Burbank, making better money than I ever had, and I was only 20 years old. I bought I'm a buster. What's that? I bought me and my roommate, we both bought motorcycles. Honda CB900 motorcycle. We both bought them, me and my roommate. And then we would plan these trips. We worked night shift at Lockheed Springs. So it was like 4 in the afternoon until 12:30. And we were close to the Malibu beach, and we had to go see that. I mean, there's just bikinis out there. They just need us out there. And so we would go out there, and we would get there like 2 in the morning or 3, and then out on the beach. And then the next day we'd get up and ride our motorcycles and, go swimming and eat stuff and try to meet, the fairer type people. And we were staying on the beach, and a guy comes down. I don't know what he was, but he had a gun, and I think it wasn't a cop. It was like I don't know, like Fish and Wildlife or something. He says, "Hey, you guys, you can't stay on this beach." And we just said, "Oh, we didn't know. We got in here late last night. We didn't know where to go." And he says, "Yeah, I know, but you can't camp on this beach." So we said, "All right, what's the story?" And he says, "Up the coast here, there's a place called the Free Beach, and you can camp up there." And he says, "But it can get rough sometimes." And we're like, what do you mean rough? And he says, "Well, it's like people that live up there, and they're kind of homeless, and they'll steal from you if they can and stuff like that." So we were a little apprehensive, but we went up there, and we didn't really see anybody. But it was no fun camping there because there was nobody there, right? And so we cruised around a little bit, and then we wound up back there, and we were going to camp out that night, and we had a campfire going and stuff. And some guys came over, and they sat down. "Hey, how you guys doing?" They sit down, and one guy, he's a little bit older. This is in 81, maybe, or yeah, 81. And he's telling us that, well, yeah, he says his name is Loser. That's what he said his name was. He looked long beard and kempt and stuff, and he had a guy with him that was actually a dwarf, right? And he said, this guy, his name's Davy. And Davy had a beret on, and quite the elaborate mustache and stuff. These guys were pretty dirty, and they were sitting at our campfire. "Hey, do you mind if we have a cold beer?" "Oh, okay, we'll have one." It was no big deal to us. And we got talking with him, and this guy says, "Well, actually, I was in the Air Force. I was a F4 pilot, flying. I flew in Vietnam, and then I got shot down, and I spent a couple years in captivity, and I don't really remember when I got back, but I kind of live here now, really. And my friend, my roommate, had been a crew chief, and he worked on F4s. So he knew the airplane, and you couldn't BS him about whether you were a pilot or not. So he just asked the guy a few questions. Sure enough, the guy had been a pilot, an F4 pilot, right? So it's really interesting. And but they were not doing too well, and they shared quite a bit of our supplies with us, and that was okay. We didn't really care. And so then the next day, we wound up at a different location, and we saw the same guys. And Luza says, "Well, this is my bus." He had this great big school bus that the windows were all painted stuff, and it was white. And this is my bus. And he says, "Come on, look." And he's showing me around, and it's just like mattresses on the inside. It was pretty bad, but it was bad. You know, there was way too young girls in there, and there was some babies, and it was not a good situation. And so we got out of there, and we did sit out with them. They had lawn chairs, and we like had a couple beers with them and said, "Hey, we got to get going." So we go. We're back at work, and we're telling all the other guys, like, "You would not believe what we encountered this weekend. We just had the greatest." And so other guys really wanted to go on motorcycle trips with us because we just had the greatest adventures. And it was a couple months later, or it might have been even the next summer. I don't know. It was quite a long time. We went to an air show at Point Magoo Naval Air Station. And then we came back down the coast past the free beach, and we're driving down through there. Holmes, I think, is behind me. And he's like, I turn around and he says, "Look." And it was the bus. And so we pulled in, stop our motorcycles, and there was quite a few other guys with us. We get off, and we're walking up to the bus, and out comes Loser out of the bus. And I said, "Hey, Loser, how you doing?" "What? Who are you guys?" He didn't recognize us at all, and I had to say, "Oh no, calm down. We just came to visit with you. Have a cold one with you." And he's like, "Oh, okay. You guys?" And yeah, he wasn't doing too good. And Davey was gone. I don't know. I think he gets sucked into the ocean. Who knows? I don't know. It was a bad situation. The bus had a flat tire, and it wasn't too good. But anyway, that was another adventure that we had. I had lots of them out there. Ended up good. Nothing happened. We just got to it, and then on we went. But I think the hook got put into me about the nomad lifestyle. Of course, I didn't like the looks of his bus. My bus is going to look better. But anyway, long and short of that one, Justin, is I don't think I think I want to build out my own, because as I have thought about it, and I've been thinking about it a lot, it's just a bunch of steps that you have to do. And it's not like the bus, you can't utilize it in between. You can. And I think I'm going to do it. I've been looking at some nice shells of buses. There's an incredible amount of buses that people buy, and then they get as far as like taking the seats out, the subfloor down, and they're like, "Hey, we don't have time to finish it. We lost interest in it," or whatever. And the buses are going for under $6,000. They have less than 100,000 miles on them, and it's just unreal, right? So maybe we'll. Who knows? I mean, but I do think that's the route I'd like to go to. I'd like to learn some of the techniques and be able to build, like usually the ones that are done really well, they build ribs and they put them in the bus. You put construction adhesive on them, and then you put them up and get a screw into the skin, and and then that rib becomes what you use to put your insulation in, all of your plumbing, and electric in, and yeah, I'd like to have one with a little wood stove in it, and too. But I just like the idea of having my own little wood stove going. So if I've got something going on outside, I can smell my wood stove. Anyway, I'd like to build my own, and maybe when I get another one, and then have a whole bunch of school buses out here. Why is it not practical down in you? Andy's saying, watch buses turned into mobile shops for farms with kitchen and the works, welder benches, tools, etc. Not really practical right here. I could see that on a big ranch. That would be, a ranch where it's, stretch it like out west. Some of those ranches you drive for 20 miles and you're still a ranch, and can't really afford to. Well, I got to head back to the barn. I forgot a pair of pliers, So, yeah, I could see that. It wouldn't be practical here, but for living in, it'd be right practical. We have people come and visit a lot, and we don't have lodging for them, So if, let's say, we owned a school bus and it was outfitted with the things that you need for, mom and dad, kids, we could have it set where it would, we're not using it, and then people could use it instead of staying downtown. When we do the classes, like you guys had to stay downtown, that was beat. Had you in a bus, and we could have 5 buses out here, all outfitted like that. So, yeah, and see, here's the thing about this work camp thing. Now, let's say that somebody else, a facility, even close, Dundee, and it was like me and Jill wanted to get out of here for a days, and we have a bus, and I'm able to say, hey, you got anything for us to do? Can you think of something for us to do? We'll give you 6 hours for 3 days, times 2. You got. He's going to say, well, Mark can do some things, so I'm going to have him. Well, he might say, well, what do you want to do? Do you want a challenge, or do you just want to rake leaves? I want a challenge. Okay. But I may be feeling like I just got a tooth pulled and I just want to mow lawn. That could be. And then I got plenty of lawn to mow. Okay, come on. So it's like they don't have to bother with us during the day. They don't have to do their regular thing, run their farm. When I get there and check in, he could say in 10 minutes, saying, okay, you're going to be doing this and this. Have at it. I got to go got to go to work or whatever. And then we get to stay someplace else, watch the sun come up a different place and go down a different place, visit with some different people, maybe get some video footage, and maybe he's something to do that done, and he can show me how to do it. So this isn't just for the new guy. This could be for anybody that's been and just wants to, if you stayed at somebody's place and paid him $50 for the night, it's kind of all right. But I'd rather contribute. Just imagine, I'm putting together the country shop out here. I just made the sign for it. Just imagine somebody comes and you read off a list of things that could be done, and you say, well, we need some signs made, some signs for this, that, and the other thing. So we've got all the brushes, the paints, everything there. And somebody's a graphic artist, I can do that. I'd love to do that. I mean, we could get some real quality work, and you know, there's a signature that goes with it that, oh yeah, guy, if you come here on a house, that's an outhouse that we built. I had a bunch of young working for me. That's one of them. Don't forget this guy, McLean. And they used to live here. And, you know, I knew Dad was killed in a swimming accident up in the UP. The tide and took the both of them out. And they rescued the kid, but the dad didn't make it. It was a real tragedy. He was here too, MD. And Jacob wound up working for me for a summer. And one day we were driving, and he mentioned something about it, and I said, "Tell me about that." And he says, "Yeah." And it was just an unbelievable story. I mean, unbelievable. He was a great guy. And anyway, then Jacob made a sign that said, "This outhouse was built by Jacob McLean, who knew nothing about building outhouses, da da da." And he put it up on the outhouse and put some screws in it, and it's still there. That's a lot of years ago. And now Jacob McLean is an elf, and just his first child a week ago. You know, this farm isn't just mine. There's people's. Station visit. There was a back here, and it said, "Have I ever soil woven wire to prevent predators from digging below the net?" No, I never have. And the reason I don't do it is because I do not need to do that, because I have Great Pyrenees guardian dogs, so problems with predators. And if you'd like me to expound on that, I can do that tomorrow night. By all means, come on back. Okay, getting close to the end. I used to run work away. They cut me off. I used to run work away. They cut me off because I would not agree to support the United Nations sustainable goals and said I could make no money on the farm. I used to run work away. If I made money, I would have to pay volunteers. They said I could not list help with children either. I don't know about that. Don't adhere to kind of entity that says what we can do property. You know, if we're going to train people how to do something and they want to help us, it's between us and them. So we're not going to be asking any permission for anybody. And oh, by the way, we're protected by the Fourth Amendment, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the Fifth Amendment. So what we do, what our process is our process, and that's all there is to it. Now, if I try to get goaded into some sort of partnership with some department, I will not be goaded into it, right? So that's that. All right, I'm at an hour and a half. Real sorry, you guys, for the poor internet service. Hopefully we get it back tomorrow. Tomorrow's our question and answer. So I hope you guys can join us at 8 o'clock. Jill will be commandeering the hot seat here. The 9th of July is going to be Tribe Day. Of the 5th and 6th, I believe, one seat open for 3 class. I had 3 seats today. The only amendments we have in Canada, we add to the. I tell you what, your people are banging it, and it seems as though, you know, they're not being knocked down by the thugs. But I think that your government there pretty smart not to get rough with these people, because it could get quite rough. You shouldn't get rough with these people. Like Nancy said last night, as soon as the truckers stood up, the government was out of business in Canada. It's just a question of time. It's just of negotiation. What's going to happen? Okay. For years, and it was good until COVID came. I would not follow their rules. I'm not following you, man. I used to run work away. They cut me work away. I don't know what that is. Sounds like you were people, or they were staying at you in exchange, maybe, and you support the United Nations goals. And said I could not make money on the farm. Nobody can tell you can't make money on the farm. Tell me, don't float the idea that the United Nations has authority on private property, private U.S. property. That's not the case. Work away. Okay. Well, if you agreed to something with work away, if you had made an agreement with them, then evidently you agreed to support the United Nations Sustainable Goals. Oh, woofers. Oh, I don't know about that. I didn't know that was a United Nations deal. No idea. But if you agree to their goals and then you go back on your agreement, that's not, I mean, it's sort of like people who live in a housing area, like what do they call it? Like a gated. Oh, I see, the woofers site. Okay, you got kicked off. Well, see, I couldn't get into that because you never know what the agenda is of those people. With the homesteaders, we know them, especially if they're tribe people and come into the nomad community. So we kind of get a better idea we're getting. With woofers, you don't know. I've met some crazy ones. Match up could be. Anyway, on the bus and have a mobile farm. There you go. See, I didn't think of that. There you go. Actually, when we're not using the bus, we could use it for a mobile chicken house. There you go. All right, you guys, I got to get going. I'm going to end the stream. Remember, anyone can farm. Time to get out there and get busy. Good night. See you tomorrow night.